guys, Troy here. This is I Choose to Worship by Rend Collective in the original key of D. Fun fact, I've never played a Rend Collective song. In fact, I didn't even think I'd ever heard one before until I started researching this one and saw that they sing My Lighthouse, which my kids love, and I'm sure if you have kids, they probably love it too. But a Guitar for His Glory member had requested this one, and I emailed back and said I wasn't going to do it because it wasn't really my style. I thought Rend Collective was a punk band, to be honest with you. And then about a week later, I listened to it. I think it came up in my Facebook feed or YouTube or something like that, and I listened to it, and I was like, wow, this is not what I thought it was at all. It's an amazing song, and I have nothing against punk. It's just not my thing, okay? So don't comment that I hate punk music. It's not my style of stuff, okay? But Rend Collective, this song is great. It's awesome, man. It says, I choose to worship. So I decided to tackle it, and what I did is combine the guitar parts into one that I think is great for one lead guitar player. And you'll see like the repeat of the bridge going on, I made it a bit bigger. That's kind of my style, is to play things a bit bigger, a bit more gain, a bit more aggressively. So if you want to play it more true to the original, the parts are pretty faithful to the original. So if you want to play it more true to the original, just tone back the aggressiveness essentially, and you'll be just fine. If you want the pedal board shot and the tablature that goes across the screen, and the explanation of tones and the short lesson and stuff, that's over at GuitarforHISGLORY.com, so you can check that out. But the words to this song, right? Let's talk about those. I always like to do that. The title, we hardly need to go even further than the title, is I Choose to Worship. And if you've never read this book by Harold Best, it's called Unceasing Worship. It's great, and it really unpacks for us this idea, this truth that we will worship something. Human beings, we're created to worship, and we were created to worship God. And obviously the fall has polluted that, right? That we have idols. The human heart is an idol factory, is another way to put it. That either we worship God as we should, or we worship things. We worship the gifts that God has given us, or the possessions that God has given us, or family relationships, our kids' progress, possessions, money, all that stuff, right? So we long to worship God. That is our desire. It doesn't always work out that way because we're sinful and we're fallen and we're still being sanctified. But the idea here is that we will worship something. And our prayer to God is that he would compel us to worship him through good and through bad. Because his promise to us is that he is orchestrating everything. So he is sovereign over everything. There's nothing that has touched you or gone on in this world that has not passed through the sovereign hands of God the Father. So the promise is that he is orchestrating everything for his glory, number one, and then our good. That's the promise. So then we need to rest and step back and go, okay, what is good? And good is that which is defined by God, which is not always how we define things, right? Good to us might be that we get to stay here for 85 years and have a glorious life. But good to God and his perfect plan might be that you die tomorrow. That's the extreme look at it, but that's true, is that we need to rest in what God has defined as good. And that requires submission to his lordship and the shedding of our own will and the shedding of our own desires. So I hope that's helpful for you in that viewpoint. So I choose to worship. What a cool song. So I hope you guys enjoy this playthrough. A little bit different style, I guess, brought to the song. But anyways, again, if you want to play the song a little more faithful to the parts, just dial back the aggressiveness and you should be fine. All right, guys, love you. Stay safe out there. We'll see you.